Good morning. Today I'm going to discuss about IAM roles. Uh, IAM role also similar to user. So we'll create one role. We'll assign policy to that role. So we can use this role to create or to access the AWS resources. So so IAM is basically an IAM entity that we can create in our account. So that has a specific permissions like policies. So an IAM role is similar to IAM user. In that it is an identity with a permission policy that determine uh, what that identity can do and cannot do in AWS account. Okay, so it is similar to IAM user only. So So role we can use for creating resources instead of being uniquely associated with one person. So a role is intended to be assumably by anyone who need it. Also, a role does not have standard long-term credentials such as password or access keys associated with it. Okay, so this role doesn't have this roles doesn't have any standard passwords. Like if you create any user with API access keys, then it will create one key file like access key and ID. So we don't need to use those access keys ID uh, in our programming. So if you are accessing S3, uh, if you are accessing S3 from EC2 or any other service, so we don't need to create access keys. So instead of we can create roles and we use the roles. Okay, so where we can use these roles, so we can use roles to delegate access to users. So to give access to users to resources, we can create the roles, and to give access to the resources from application, we can use the roles and service. uh, um, okay, and to the services. For example, uh, if you want to access S3 from EC2, so we can create a role and then give that and give the policy to access the S3, and that role will associate with the EC2 system. So that is the one example. Some example I'll give. You might want grant users in your AWS account access to the resources. They don't have access. They don't have. Uh, um, for example, so you have two accounts. This is the one scenario I'm just giving two accounts. So one account you want to access the from one account you want to access the other account resources. So we can create one user here, and then we'll create a role in another account, and then we'll assign that role to this user so that he can access the other account resources. So that is one scenario where we can use the roles. Or if you want to access the data from mobile app, so you can use roles same way. So instead of giving access keys and ID, uh, and one more uh, where we can use like sometimes you want to give access to users who already have identities defined outside of your AWS. So for example, if you have your corporate directory, so corporate directory, so you want to give AWS access to that corporate directory users, we can create a role, we can give the access to that corporate directory also. So and if you want to give to third parties, you can, if you want to give your account to other third party to perform any audit, so we can create a role and then we can give it to them so that they will access to perform in any audit in the AWS account. Okay, those are the basic scenarios where we use the roles. So now let's log into this. Here, uh, I'm going to give an example with using IAM roles with Amazon EC2. So I'm just creating one bucket. I'm going to create one role, and I'm just going to download AWS SDK Java 1.1, and and then I'm just creating one Java file to access the data of that bucket which we are going to create. Okay, that is the example I'm going to give. So in this demo, so let's log into the console. Then we'll create a bucket. Okay, first we'll create the role, and then we'll create the bucket, and then we'll create an EC2 instance with that role. Okay, let's get into this console. So let's go to IAM service, and create you can see here, right, on right side you can see the roles. So we have to create a role. So these are the default roles they have created whenever I created an account, AWS account. So let's create an AWS. So here we can, I told you, right, if you want access from another account, so you can use this one. If you want access web identity, or if you want to federated corporate any corporate corporate directory, so you can use this one. So I'm just giving within one same AWS account. I'm just using EC2. So select this one, EC2, and so next we have to give the permissions like policies. So here I'm just giving S3 full access, because I'm creating a role to access the S3 service from EC2. So I'm giving the S3 full access for now. Next review, and I'm just giving the name of the role here is S3 full access. Okay, then create the role. So now I have created the S3 role. So now I have to create a bucket. So for that we have to go here, S3, we will call it as simple service storage, simple storage service. Okay, let's go to S3. So here already I have one sample bucket I created. So let's create one more bucket. So I name it as I'll just copy here. So this is my bucket name. Okay, I'm just going to create here. So I'm just going to create my bucket in US East 1. Okay, because I have to create I'm going to create EC2 instance in North Virginia East 1. So North Virginia East 1. Okay, so EC2 and bucket name should be within the same region, otherwise we cannot communicate. Okay, let's create the bucket. So my bucket is also created. Here in this sample 124 I have some content. I'll just copy this file to my folder which I created now. So, okay, just copy and then copy to this bucket and then copy. So now I have copied to, so now I copied to this bucket. Okay, You can see this. So in this text file I have some content. So this content we are going to display in EC2. Okay. So now I have created bucket as well. So now I'll go to EC2. I'll just create one EC2 instance with IAM role. Okay. I'll show you how to create with IAM role. Let's go to running instance and you can click here or here. So I'll just click here. So here you have to select your AMI. I'm just selecting Amiga Linux 2 AMI. Select. Here you can select your own instance type. I'm just selecting this one T2 micro because it's a free tier eligible. Next instance configuration. So in this configuration I have to give my IAM role here. So here you have to give your role. Okay, I give. Otherwise you can create from here as well. If you want to create a new role, you can create from here. So, okay, and everything else will be the same. So next go for the storage, and I'm just putting 8 GB as my hard disk. Go for the next. Add the tag. I'll name it as role demo. Okay. Next here I'm just allowing SSH port. So okay, just next review, launch, and then and if you feel everything is okay, just launch it. I think I'm good to go. So let's launch. So I'm just selecting this one. So okay, because I already have one key pair existed. Okay, I'm just selecting it. I'm acknowledging the same, and then launch the instance. Okay, once this instance is launched, so here you can see, click on this one. So here it will take about a minute to get up and running. So let's wait for a minute. So meanwhile, you'll see here you can see all the details. So instance ID, instance state, which type of instance you give, what is the public IP. Here is a private IP, and here you can see the inbound rules. Here which inbound rules you give. So here you can come or 1 minute. So or you can see here itself view inbound rules, which inbound rules you give here. So you can see all the details. If you want to see the outbound rules, here the all outbound rules are allowed, so to the worldwide. So which AMI you give, you can see here which platform, because I gave my Unix Linux based Unix. Okay, and here you can see which key pair you gave, which here you can see the IAM role which we gave. Okay, and so when we have created this one, this is the root volume, this is the hard disk. You want to see it here, you can see, you can click on that, it will take you to these EBS volumes. Okay, if you want how much I'll explain you all these details when I am in EC2. Okay, and that's all you have. So if you want to connect to this server, here you can see the connect tab, connect button. So if you click on that, here you can see it, how you will connect. If you want to connect through putty, so you can use this link. Click on that and then locate your file, and then so you can follow these steps. So, okay, so I am going to do SSH, so I need this one. So if you want to see any other documentation, you can see, if you click on that, it will take you to the document, how we can connect to the EC2 instance. Okay, so now this EC2 instance is up and running. So I'll take my this this connection string, copy, close this one. So I'm going to my terminal. So I'll just so here I have all my details here. So I need this get s3 bucket object Java, this file, and I need this build file, and then I need this AWS Java SDK. So the I will give the details in the description where we can download this AWS Java SDK. Okay. So from here, so we have to copy these files to our EC2 instance. Okay. So my EC2 instance is ready. Okay. Let's go paste. And then it is asking to continue. Yes. So now I am connected to my EC2 system. Sorry. So now I am in the EC2 system. Okay. If you see here, so home. So now I am there in the EC2 instance. So now I have to copy these files from my local system to this server. Okay. So now exit. So we are logging out of that system. We are going to our local system. So I'm in my local system. Okay. Less. So here you can see all the details. So now we'll copy this and this. Okay. And we want to copy some of the files within this one. Okay. So I have this copy command as well. So if you want to see here, you can see here. So scp command we use to copy from server to server or server to local if you want to see anything. So, okay. See, first I am copying get object file. So here you can give the IP of the EC2 system. So we can use this one, or you can come here, or you can use this IP as well. So we will copy this one. So you can use both of them. You can use any of them or both of them. So I'm just copying that. I'll just paste it here. Okay, I'm copying. I don't need the class file. I need the Java file. So there in EC2 system we will compile that Java. Okay, Java class instead of Java class. I'll just do here. So here to build the Java class we are using ant as a build service. So we'll use the ant. Okay, first we'll copy all the files we need. Copy. So it is copied. Now let's copy the other file. Okay. So I'm just copy pasting it. So this one I'll remove, and now I'm just copying this build.xml. So copy this file, and here as well we have to copy. So here I'll explain the SCP first. I will explain. Let me copy. After that I'll explain how this SCP works. Copy this one. Enter. Okay. So now I have to copy library files and third-party library files. So I'll just go of this SDK. So let's go to AWS. Here we have some library files, right? So from here we have to copy this library and the third party. This lib and third party is a directory. So we have to use command -r whenever you are copying it. Whenever you are copying a folder, so we have to use -r. So it has to copy all the files in that folder recursively. So I'll put here the lib see. So I'll just put lib into there. You can type to come starting line, control A you can type. It will come to starting of this line. Okay. Lib. So it will take some time. So let's wait for 2 minutes. I think it has about 400 MB. So it is saying what is permission denied, it is saying. Because this key file is not there within this directory. So let's copy this lib and third party to, because this key file was not there in this directory. So this Demo-linux key pair was not there within this directory. So that's why it is saying the permission denied. So first let's copy lib to this directory. Okay. So cp -r -r lib // okay, we are copying into this directory. So let's copy. So it is copy. Let's copy third party. So this is also copied. Let's go back to our directory. See here, you can see, right, lib. Okay, now let's run that command again. Okay, lib. So now it is copying. I think it will take about, here it is in 4 minutes. Let's wait for some time. Because we are copying a file from my local system to EC2 server, so which is there in the US. So it will take some time. So because it has to copy, there might be a latency problem to copy the file. So here I'm using SCP, right? So this SCP is to server copy. So we'll use this SCP command to copy local file to our server. Okay. So this is my local file, and then I'm copying SCP from and to. So using this key pair, using this key file, I'm copying my local library to my remote desktop, remote server. We can say remote server. Okay. So this hyphen we use to connect that EC2 instance. Using this key file, we'll use hyphen, and P. So R is to, I'll explain you the P. So R is to copy the files recursively. So hyphen P is we use to uh, um, uh, we use to copy the same permissions of this local file to same as to the EC2 instance. So it is copy same as a local copy to the production to the remote desktop. So it will not change any permissions of that file. So it is copies same as your local copy. So in that case, we'll use -p. Same permissions. If you want to keep in your local permissions to the remote server, we can use -p. So that is the scp command we use. And once it is copied, we will go to EC2 instance, and then we'll compile that file, Java file, and then we'll run the ant build, and then we'll run the ant run. So I'll show you the what is there in that Java file. So how we are connecting to that EC2 instance using that Java file. I'll put everything in the description. If you want, you can download it, all the SDKs and everything. So once this lib is completed, we have to copy the third party as well. So once that is done, we will go to the EC2 instance, and then we'll install the ant. And this is the last jar we are copying, so it will be done in a minute. After that, we'll copy the third party as well. So files are copied. Now let's copy the third party. This one, copy this as well. Copy, paste, Control A, and then replace the lib with third party, and then enter. So this will not take time, so it will take about a half minute. So here this also copy. Let's connect to. So if you type command control R, you will see recursive search. So if you want to search the previous command which you run, so you can enter control R and then type your command ssh. So this one I want to connect to this okay, connect to EC2 system. So it will connect us to the system clear. Sorry, clear. If you put ls, here you can see this one build.xml get.java, this third party. Okay, and plus build.xml lib and third party. Okay, so now I want to install. First we'll m update and sudo m update sudo m update. So we'll update all the m packages. And it is finally cleaning up all these packages. So once it is done, we will install. So it is completed. Now we'll install sudo m install and okay, this is the build service. So we are installing. So it is asking to install. Yes. So and also completed. And if you type and -v, so here you can see it will compile everything in that. Here you can see what version it is compiled on 13/2017. So build is successful. So now so what we'll do and build. So it will use that build.xml and then it will compile. So build is successful. So now so I'll show the Java file now. So if I run and run, it will get that bucket. Sorry, within we have one text file within that bucket, right? So it will display the content of that bucket. Okay. So now let's see cat get object Java file. So here, okay, here we have this class get object. So here we are getting this bucket, and then we are using this object to display the content of this text file or object. Okay, here you can see this one. So this is printing that uh, object. So this is what we'll see, downloading an object and then content of that file. Okay, so here what this will do is get object. So first it will look for any AWS keys are there in the configuration file or not. So if it is not there in the configuration file, it will look for the default AWS credentials. So even it is not found there, so it will look for the role. So if you have the role, then it will get based on that role which bucket you want to access. So Okay, if it is not there also, it will throw an exception. Uh, what we will call it as there is no, it will throw an exception because we don't have that permission. So this is how this will work here. Okay, this is the Java file. So we have, and then these are the some lines we have in the Java file. Okay, so now let's enter. Because I am not given any key files in the system, or I have not defined any of those configuration files in this in this of any of the file. So I'm just using that role. Using that role, I am getting that content of that bucket. Okay. Now let's run the and run. If you run this one, the program will execute and it will display the content of that object. Okay, it is running. See here, this is output of that file, downloading an object, and this is the content of that object. See here, right? This is how we'll use the roles without using access keys and IDs, passwords, or anything. So this is the secure way we can access the S3 buckets. Okay, using the roles. So now we are accessing this. So I'll show you the content of that file. Okay, let's go to S3 bucket. So this is the role access bucket, and if you download this file, okay, see, this is the content of that text file. This is the role-based access. Okay, for example, again, so okay, so how we will delete the roles. So if you want to revoke that, you can go to roles. So IAM, and then you can delete that role or whatever you want. You can do it. So we want to revoke that permission. You can go here and then you can directly detach this one. Okay. So for example, if you attach any other policies to this system, so it will deny. So if you run it again, so I'll explain you. I'll just give you one more RDS full access. I'll just give you to this, and then update. So now I have given this permission. Now let's go and run again that command. I think it should say permission denied. Oh, I think 1 minute. If I delete this one S3 policy, then run it again, which see here, it throw in an exception by service. I'm not showing the full exception what is that, because I'm just throwing an exception because we don't have the permission to see the S3. We have only permission to see RDS here. So this is how it will work. Okay, thank you so much. If you like the video, please share and subscribe. Thank you.